Good evening, everybody. We're going to get going very shortly. Sorry for logging on too early this evening. I had a few technical issues, so I'm just going to wait around for a couple of minutes for a few more people to arrive. So it is 8 o'clock Sydney time. We'll just wait a couple of minutes just to let people get into the room. If you're on YouTube, if you just jumped onto the stream, I can't see the chat, but you're more than welcome to register for the webinar and come in and join us so you can ask questions. I'll put the link in the chat there for you. So we'll get going in a couple of minutes. So just be patient and I will talk with you soon. Okay, everybody, thanks for your patience. We'll get going. So welcome to this evening's ACY Securities Live Forex Market Review. Just before we get going, if you can read through the disclaimer, that would be great. As we're moving through the webinar, if you have any questions, just type them into the question box. I've got the chat box open too. And if we've got time at the end, if there's an instrument or a currency pair that you want me to review, then just type it in and we'll have a look at that at the end. All right, if you don't know me, my name is Duncan Cooper. I'm the Senior Market Strategist and Trading Mentor here at ACY Securities. And a bit about myself, I'm a full-time Forex trader, been trading the market for more than 15 years now and mentoring clients for more than 10. If you want to connect with me, you can email me there. Anything to do with the webinars, feel free to give me an email if you have any questions. If you want to connect with me, you can get my analysis and some education videos there at the acy.com website. You'll find it on the Market News tab. YouTube channel, ACY Securities Australia, and you can connect with me personally on Twitter and LinkedIn there if you want to. And if you want to connect with our ongoing analysis through the week, it's all based around the education series that we do in the webinars, how we're looking at trends, support and resistance, key trading levels. We're posting during the day, looking at trend, as I say, support and resistance, and key levels that we might be looking to trade at through the course of the day. If you'd like to get access to that, just contact Nathan Bray at acy.com. So that's nathan.bray at acy.com. I'll put his email in the chat in a moment. Just coming up next week, we are going to be starting the beginning webinar series, starting with technical analysis basics. That's going to start on Tuesday next week, 8 p.m. Sydney time. Okay, so just head over to our website, to the webinar page to register for the upcoming webinars. All right, let's get to the charts. Now, before we do that, I'm just going to put into the chat a link to my, beg your pardon, not a link, but give you the details of Nathan so that you can contact him if you'd like to get access to the Telegram service, access to my chart layouts. He'll organize that for you. Just use the details in the chat there. Nathan Bray, he'll sort you out. So let's get to the charts. And I just want to click through, see what's going on before I jump in. I do know what's going on. I just want to see what's going on relative to what I last saw. All right, so a bit volatile on the Euro-Yen pairs. Just want to drop down the 50-minute chart. So we're having a bit of a spike up, back down on the Euro-Yen. We had a meteoric rise yesterday. We've got the Eurozone interest rates coming out. So just before I go through the charts, if we go to have a look at forexfactory.com, I'd like to use this page for the news items coming out. We've got the Euro financing rate coming out at 10:45 p.m. and then we've got the press conference at 11:30. So we fireworks, I'm sure, on the Euro crosses. They moved up very strongly yesterday after their very strong move down late last week into Monday. So the question is now, are they going to move back down again? So we do have a major news announcement coming out. That was more hawkish last month, but I'm sure it's going to be less hawkish this month because of the war. So bear that in mind when you're looking at maybe trading the euro crosses. All right, you might want to wait till after that event. So why don't we cover those euro crosses now before we get into other pairs? But I might leave those to the end because really can't trade those at the moment, I don't think, unless you really want to. So let me just see what's going on. All right, let's just talk about the pound yen because this is a bit more user friendly at the moment. So I just want to talk about the day chart. And any level that I might be talking about now to trade at, that's entirely up to you if you want to trade. You need to make your own personal trading decisions. I'm just going to talk about levels and what I'm looking at. So the pound yen has been moving down from this double top, and it's been respecting support and resistance beautifully. It's broken now below weekly support, 152.89 that was, and day support. And it's trading down to day support down here at 151.22. Yesterday I said this area now of resistance, 152.66 and 152.89. I discussed that yesterday. I said that could be a great area to look to trade down from, because this might be where the next lower top comes in to move down long term to 149. All right, so what you'll start to see is in that area on the 4-hour chart, well, we've obviously traded into that area and we've been trading out of it, or trying to. Earlier in the day, not too long ago, but in our Telegram chat, I'll just show you that I get to the bottom here. I posted a potential opportunity that the market may be failing in the area that I'm going to talk about right now. So I highlighted a key area that I thought price might start to fail at because of being strong resistance. And this was the area. I actually posted it early in the day about the resistance levels and said I was looking for an intraday failure at some point. So in that area, I'm expecting maybe price will fail. So on the 15-minute chart, let's get down to it. We've seen the trend line break at the top and a bit of a retest. Our price came down, retested, fell. Now it's doing its retesting the broken, well, the resistance level, the daily resistance level at 152.66 is broken below it. Now it's coming up to retest it, and it looks like it's rejecting. So potentially, you know, that is a prime, this is a prime area to be a seller at. Any rejection in this area now, with your stop above the area, looking for, back to the 4-hour chart, a move down to retest 151.12 day support. Can we get a deeper move down to 149 weekly support? Now, of course, this could just continue up. There's no guarantee anything in trading, but this is just a very strong key level to look at and then start to monitor is price action starting to sell off from the level. So we are seeing that happening on the 15-minute chart. Being very volatile on the current candle. I mean, the market is very volatile at the moment, and I've said if it's too volatile, you can just wait until it's less volatile. So you have to decide yourself, do you want to participate? So it's looking right now that we've come up to retest that area and it's withdrawing back down. Let's move to the pound dollar. Discussed yesterday the 131.68 level. Let's go to the weekly chart. We've been moving down and we've broken below 131.68 earlier in the week. Weekly support, and we broke below this level to 131.34. The trends are down, and we're just been having 1 or 2 days up, and then I've been watching how price might be respecting the 131.68 level on a retest back up. So the day chart's been having 2 days up. Today we did have a day up, just got short of the 132 level, and now the market's asking itself, does it now want to move back below 131.68 to maybe have a few more days down the track? So on the 4-hour, it's a little bit consolidatory here on the 4-hour, and it's just a bit above and a bit below 131.68. What we are seeing, earlier in the day, we came up close to 32, dropped down, and you can see the current 50-minute candle is rejecting 131.68. So is that going to be resistance now for a move down? It could well be. Time will tell. For me, because this is so volatile, we've obviously moved above that level a good 30 pips. You can't just use a 20 pip stop when you're trading at these levels at the moment. So what you'll need to do is determine, okay, you want to trade at the level but have a larger stop. All right, because you can see there on the current 15-minute candle that the current 15-minute candle in itself, the way it's shot up and is rejecting, it's 25 pips long. They're not normally that long, probably half of that on a 15-minute candle. So the volatility is twice as much. So your stops are going to have to be twice as wide. So for me, if I was trading 131.68, I must have my stop above 132 because we almost came up to challenge that today. So maybe other opportunities in the trading day to trade this down from 131.68 with less volatility. But at the moment, it is kind of telling you at the moment that it's moved above it and it's rejecting it. So clearly the sellers are starting to want to maybe move it down from 131.68 there. So looking to see if price can move back below that weekly level for a further decline. All right, now, doesn't mean to say it's going to hold there. It could come up higher. So there's another level that I will be watching if this doesn't start to operate. And that's this daily level of broken support at 132.73. All right. Personally, at the moment, I'm going to wait till past the Eurozone news to come out before engaging on the pound and the euro crosses because they're kind of interrelated. So I'm going to see what's happening after that. If I miss the boat at this level, so be it. But that level is obviously acting as some form of resistance at the moment. So I just want to go back to the euro dollar to see what they're doing in the euro yen. Bit of volatility there at the moment. So let's start with the euro yen. So on the day chart, we got support. I'm going to move to the weekly chart. Weekly support down here. We traded down there this week, late last week into this week. And yesterday we had a bit of a meteoric rise back up. And there's some key levels. I thought maybe price action would hold at 127.07 monthly resistance and 127.37, but the market just wanted to trade through those levels. It's actually come up to a weekly level of support that got broken. So weekly resistance now at 128.24. We're trading at 128.09 at the moment. So that low that's been formed over the last 1, 2, 3, 4, about 6 weeks ago, the market's come back up to it, and maybe it's saying that's where we want to hold at now to move down. Now it's very volatile. Yesterday, I think it put in about 250 pips. That's not the normal range. So there's the day chart look. That's that weekly support low that got broken. So now resistance 128.24, and it's been up to 128.48. All right, so it's not able to hold exactly at these levels in this volatility, but we can see at the moment that it's holding to that level. When the Eurozone news comes out, this may move up further to the next level, which is at 129.23, depending on what the reaction is, or obviously it may move down the track. So a level 127.92, which kind of touches this level, but it's from over here, had been, before we dropped through this level last week, down to the 125 level, very good, strong support in here. So for me personally, after the news, looking to engage on this pair, maybe to the short side, where the overall trend is, because don't forget it's lower tops and bottoms here. You really need to see this wanting to be moving below. I wanted to hold below 127.92, and then can you see some price structure to trade around, obviously to get into a trade. So those are the levels to watch. At the moment, we are managing now to hold at 128.24. Can we start to move below 127.92 on the day? We have trading below it, but we're obviously not holding below it. There is a bit of a breakdown in price action here now. There was a very minor 4-hour low point there that's got broken. So it's just starting to, this 4-hour uptrend that we had coming up, it's just starting to break down to the downside, but that could change when the news comes out. And you'll see that on the 1-hour chart. We've moved down to a lower point. I had a bit of a spike back up, but couldn't take out the high. So is this putting in now a lower top to move down through the course of the day? No time will tell. So you need to decide yourself, can you trade on such a volatile pair when the news is coming out as well? A little bit later in the evening for me. So it is rejecting 128.24. But for me, what I'd like to see, and it might not do this because the volatility news just might not let it happen, but I like to see price break a level that I'd like the price to be under, and then come back up and test it, and that become resistance, and then look in that area to trade down from. Now, at the moment, that 127.92 level is acting as some form of support. It's stuck between those two levels. So it's in an area where I'd like it to fall down from. I'd like it to break below 127.92, then retest, and then move down. So I'll just have to monitor to see if that offers me that. But depending on what you do as a trader, you might be a position trader. It is failing at 128.24 during the current trading day. If you thought that was a good level to trade down from, you probably need to have like a 100 pip stop above with the volatility. To see if that pair now wants to move down from that level. So I'll often do that myself. Not when the news is coming out, but if I thought this was a great level that the market is failing at long term, I'll be trading at 128.24, stop 100 pips above, and then looking for this to trade down with the trend from resistance. All right. All right, so the euro yen, euro dollar is very similar to the day chart, or to the weekly chart. First of all, we covered these levels yesterday. It's having a bounce up from this low over here, 108.79. It's a monthly low. And I was hoping that it might stop at this weekly resistance here at 110.18, but clearly we moved above it yesterday. And it just got a little bit short of daily and weekly resistance up here. So to the day chart, those levels here and here, that's 111.06 and 111.21. So we've got fraction short. I think we got up to the figure at 111. Let's have just double check. No, it didn't get up to the figure. It got up to 110.94. So clearly the sellers are all parked at 111 or above at those levels. So now that we moved above 110.18, obviously last week we clearly broke below it. I think for the sellers to really get back into control, they need to move back below 110.18. All right, that would be great. They may already be in control from just short of 111, but at the moment, this 4-hour trend up here, we really need to move back below 110.18, and that start to offer a resistance to move down to retest 108.79 again. All right. So at the moment, there's a few levels to watch. When the news comes out, this could come up to 111.06, 111.21. So that 20 pip area there, approximately. So from 111 up to say 111.21, does that area hold on a retest, start to fail? That would be a great area to trade down from if it started to fail. Right now where we are, you could have already maybe shorted it yesterday, close to 111, but now you can see that we're trading or have traded close to that level. It's acting as some form of support in the short term. That's why I'm saying where price is, you either should be looking up here to sell or wait for this to break and then come back up and retest 110.18 to be resistance. Okay, so those are the levels I'll be watching. Just move it down to the 15. So you can see here, it doesn't want to get below 110.18 in the current trading environment while it's waiting for the news. Now, when the news comes out, it just might slice straight through there. And that's the problem with a very volatile market at the moment and waiting for some news to come out. So sitting on my hands until the news has come out. It'd be nice if it came up to this area, 111 up to 111.21, and started to fail there. And then you can trade it down for a retest of 110.18 to break. All right. So hopefully you can see there, we are kind of stuck between support and resistance in the short term. Of course, if you just wanted to position it, it's trading at 110.41. I would be if I was doing that, I'd be selling with a stop at least 100 pips above your entry. So your stop's above the next major level of resistance in case the price would spike up there for the next move down. All right. But I'd much prefer to be maybe selling up here at 111, stop at 112, rather than, not selling close to resistance. That's kind of in the middle of resistance and support. So that's some ways that you can think about trading at levels. All right, I'm going to go to, I'm going to start to the left side, go to Aussie yen. And as I was saying yesterday, this is my day chart, but there's 4 levels here. We've got weekly support, 83.97, 84.29, weekly resistance at 85.18, 85.44. Lo and behold, we've come up to and touched 85.18 today. And we were in here yesterday in the middle. And I was saying, really, you've got the buyers defending the weekly levels and the sellers defending the resistance levels. The weekly support has been defended by the buyers, weekly resistance has been defended by the sellers. And I'm just half anticipating that we might be putting in a lower top up here. I know it's higher tops and bottoms, but we've pretty much traded back up to the top of the range. And on the weekly chart, there's the top of the range. We failed here before. Are we going to fail here again? If we fail at an area, we're going to put in the lower top on the day chart as the trends start to change. So we don't have that yet, but a day down tomorrow would start to put in the lower top. The 4 hour, what I've been watching, and depending on how aggressive you want to be, I've got a fib drawn across this range. So we actually rejected the weekly resistance area early in the week, came back down to support. I've been watching the 79% level and the 85.18 weekly resistance level. And we've traded into that area. And in the short term, what I have seen, although price is coming back up, we have seen a bit of a trend line break in that area. So we are seeing a bit of selling pressure and weakness in that area. Price might come back up for another test. Buyers and sellers are fighting it out. So if you want to be a seller, you think this is going to be topping out, failing at 85.18 is the key area of resistance to look to trade down from. And then you've got the 79% fib level, 85.14. Might come up for another sniff into that area. And if I was trading in that level today, just going to go back to my day chart. If I thought that level was going to hold, I'd want to put my stop above the next level. So trading at, say, 85.18, I'd really want to put my stop 100 pips above at 86.18 with the idea this is going to hold here to start to move down the range. All right, because if you're risking, let's say you're risking 100 pips at 85 and this trades back down to 82, that's a risk reward of 1 to 3. It trades further down the range, down to 80, you got a risk reward of 1 to 5. Okay, so in this very volatile market, I don't think you can, it's very difficult to just trade with a 20 pip stop in the short term. So I'll just put that back down to the 15. So this might be putting a little lower top in on the 15-minute. What we might start to see as we head into tomorrow, if we do fail at 85.14 up to 85.18 today, tomorrow we might see opportunities for price to cycle back up and start to fail at 85. So you can be watching that tomorrow. Do we trade down today? And then in trading tomorrow, do we come up to have a bit of a rally and might start to see 85 holding to trade down? So there's a few levels there to watch. It is in the area where, if you want to be a position trader right now, maybe you should be looking to engage. Okay, but that's entirely up to yourself. See, as I'm talking, it's wanting to move back down after that bit of a rally. All right, Aussie dollar. As I've been saying yesterday, we've had this is the monthly move down, and this is the monthly rally, and we failed earlier in the week at the 79. And I know at the moment the day chart trend is still up. So 74.29 is the fib level, 79% level that we failed at. I know the day chart trend is still up. I just want to put that fib back on. I've been looking at today and I haven't been able to engage. What I saw was that the close of yesterday's candle closed at the weekly resistance level. So it didn't really want to close above. And yesterday's high kind of failed at the 62 level. So early in the week, we failed at the 79. And then yesterday, we kind of failed at the 62. Today, we're managing to just get above that level. We've actually been below the weekly resistance, and now we're back above it. So it's a bit annoying. The buyers and sellers are jostling at the 73.14 level. Sometimes they'll let it go below. The buyers will let it go below. Sometimes then the buyers will come in and the sellers will let it come back above. So there's a bit of a battle below and above 73.14, which is annoying because if you're trying to engage and get yourself set, and then the market, it keeps chopping around, you can either get chopped out of your trades or you can't quite get an entry that you like and you're just sitting tight. So I'm just watching to see if we can start to get a clear failure now at the 62 level to move down, maybe put in a lower top, start to change the trend structure on this day chart. Of course, I could be wrong. I'm obviously looking at this as failing long-term here. So if it's going to be a long-term failure, we're going to see a downtrend form on the daily. At the moment, this is still an uptrend in terms of higher bottom, higher top, higher bottom, and I could be completely wrong, and this could just continue up in its higher top, higher bottom formation. All right, so 4 hour, I did actually put in a lower top here and started to move below 73.14 this morning. So I was looking for what was it going to do as it headed back up to retest 73.14, but it just kept moving up. So at the moment, there is a bit of a resistance area here on the 4 hour. This area here, 73.47. So when we dropped below it, we retested it to come down. We got short of it yesterday, and today we've just been a pip or two short. So that's why I've got it drawn in as a key area of maybe that's where the market might fail at today. And then it might start to move back down the track or move above. It moves above that level, the buyers are in control quite clearly, but that's where it's been starting to hold at through the intraday trading of the week. So the 15, you can see I was looking earlier in the day, and I posted this in our Telegram channel. I was looking, once we broke back below 73.14, I was wanting this to hold and fail, but it just moved through. So I never actually got an entry. Then it came down and became support to move up. So I've just been sitting on my hands. Now, I'm going to be watching that level a little bit later in the evening to see what goes on. Can I see a trend line break to occur to move? You know, does it hit, fail, trend line break? Just going to be watching that level a little bit later in the day before I go to bed. All right. Just quickly looking at the euro and see what it's doing in the euro dollar as I'm going through my other moving to right on the charts. Pound yen still holding that level that I highlighted. Is that now the last test of that daily resistance, 152.66, before a further move down? Pound, that's at that 131.68 level we were discussing. All right, New Zealand yen and New Zealand dollar. New Zealand yen. All right, it's been holding at this weekly top. I've been thinking, is this pair going to hold at this top to move down? Forgetting today and yesterday, Monday, Tuesday, two clear rejection candles. When we touched it and traded through, and then the next day we almost touched it but couldn't trade through. Then we came down, and the weekly level of possible support from this old top here has been acting as some support. Being very, it's very difficult when you see two candles reject weekly resistance up here, then to think this is going to be support, because then you're kind of looking to see if price will break below that level for it then to become resistance. So today at the moment, we are moving up. Now, it is still trying to hold its trend up through there. One thing I've noticed is that of that whole bigger range, we're getting close to the 62. We tried to get close to it on Monday and rejected back below resistance. I'll be interested to see where this candle finishes at the end of the day. Does it trade up to 79.72 and then trade back down below 79.23? So I'm not convinced that this is going all the way up here. For me, if I was wanting to be a buyer on this pair, I should have bought by now. What I'd need to see to be a buyer is for 79.23 to start to become clear support. Now, it's got a message coming in. All right, Edwin, I'll get back to that in a moment for you. Let me just finish on the New Zealand yen. So as I was saying, I'm going to wait till the end of the day and just see how this closes. To be a buyer, if this is just going to continue up, it's interesting to note that the last higher bottom's here, all the way back down here. And we've had all these countless days up, trading up. It's due for a pullback. It's been trying to reject and pull back at 79.23. So, you know, this moving up for at least 7 to 10 days now from its last higher bottom. It's not the best area to be a buyer in because you're getting to the end of the run. All right. So it may continue up over the next month, but I think to be a buyer, you need to see a bit of a pullback first of all. So the 4-hour chart for a lot of the week, once we've false broke 79.23 in through here, it's all been resistance until the last couple of candles. All right. So I'm just going to watch that, see if it does close above 79.23 or close below 79.23. All right. In the area it's at, I'm not happy to be a buyer, so I'm just on my hands. If I do see a reversal, then yes, I can trade the reversal. So I'm watching 79.23. Are we going to get a clear move above that level? Do we move back below it? I'm also watching 79.72, the 62 level. Do we fail there? All right. This just looks to me like it's maybe topping out in this area. Time will tell. I just want to go back to the pound yen. Somebody was asking me, Edwin, 4-hour chart, pound yen, 79% level, 154.47. So what's the high and low that you're drawing your fib from there, Edwin? Is that how you're drawing it? From that high? Yes, okay. So what Edwin's doing here is drawing his fib across the last lower top to the last lower bottom on the daily. And yep, that's the 79% level. Now, of course, where price is right now, it's quite a shallow retracement at the moment when we're looking at the range and the fib there. To what price has only retraced to just beyond the 38, but often resistance is just resistance, and price doesn't want to go beyond the resistance level. So it is possible that through the trading day we continue up. So a very good level where the market will often fail at if we do continue up would be the 79. So yeah, 154. I've got to get us 154.31 on my fib. Okay, so yeah, price could get up to that level, but obviously it needs to do a lot to get to there. At the moment, what we have been seeing, let's just go down the time frames again. We are seeing some rejection on the 4-hour chart there at the moment, some selling pressure. And what we are seeing on the 1-hour chart is that the 1-hour time frame is turned to down. MACD's turned to down. So on a 1-hour time frame in that area, we've seen a change. So whilst you're using a larger fib range there, which is fine, but price may or may not get up to the level that you're watching. We move down to the 15-minute chart. That 1-hour range, smaller range that's formed as a downtrend here. Just drawing that in. We could be coming back up now to retest the 79 level of this smaller range, or we could be coming up to retest, just want to retest 152.89 weekly resistance. So obviously it's coming up at the moment. That's why I was saying trying to trade at the moment with just a 20 pip stop is a little bit hard, because you might see some rejection at a level and then it comes up for the further retest of the level a little bit further up that it's fallen down from. So it's not wrong to be trading at 152.66, but you can't have a 20 pip stop. You have to get your stop above the whole area, because price can come up and retest 152.89 if it wants in the volatility. It can come up and retest 153 and then turn around and go down. So having your stop too tight in this volatile market, often you can be right with the level that you're watching. Price just spikes up a bit, takes you out, and then falls back down, and you're left with a small loss, but you're not in the move. All right, so that's how I was using a fib on that smaller range there, and we can just leave that on there to see what it does. Maybe revisit it before we finish tonight. So the 1 hour chart is down, it's dropped. It's having a rally on the 1 hour chart. Often on those rallies, it can fail at 62. 79, see the last spiky candle, went through the 62, it was short of the 79. And this candle is asking itself, can I get up to the high of the last one? Or is it going to be, held at the 62? All right, so you can monitor that. All right, let's just have a look at the New Zealand dollar. Now, similar to the New Zealand yen, this is my weekly chart. Just got weekly levels drawn in. We've got a similar top that we're testing. In regard to the New Zealand dollar, it's false breaking. It's not above. The New Zealand yen is a little bit above. So day chart then, Monday, we had a clear rejection. So it's rejected 68.90. It's rejected that low over here, 68.59. Now, any of these levels that I'm talking about, price could come back up to retest any one of these levels. It's coming up to test the current one I'm talking about here, 68.59. It's getting support on the next level below at 68.04 from this weekly low. So I've been waiting for 68.04 to break and then look to trade a retest back to that level. Thinking that we have failed up here, and over time we're going to be trading down. But of course, at the moment, it's wanting to have some form of short-term support rally here. Now, of course, if you're a buyer and you think it's going to move up higher, you should have been looking to buy down at 68.04. So at the moment, it's coming back up to the last 4 hour top, which is just before that 68.59 level. So that is a level to monitor for failure, following that rejection down, and so is the 68.90 level. So yesterday we couldn't get up to that level. We're very choppy here before we move back down. Of course, at the moment, we're coming up a little bit beyond yesterday's highs to retest 65.59. So I just want to go back to the day chart, and this could be where the market puts in the lower top. So the day chart, it's come down. It's putting in the bottom here. Is it coming up to this level to hold? Well, we've had a day up today. If we have a day down tomorrow, this will put in a lower top. Now, of course, it might not do that, but just look left. That candle held at that level. Keep going to the left. See these two candles here? They couldn't close above that level. Traded above, but couldn't close. So that 68.59 level from that weekly low over here, so it got rejected there too. It's a clear level of resistance that the market previously has respected very strongly. So it's not a level I'm going to be buying into. Now, I could have a buyer's approach and think that, okay, we've rejected 68.90. I want to get set to trade up. I should be buying at 68.04 area. Being a buyer into resistance is not a great idea. Being a buyer into the next level is not a great idea too. I mean, this might move all the way up to the top up here. So if that's what's going to happen, you'd need to see this move through this area to become support on the day chart. You know, we have a really good move through, 1 or 2 days pullback that holds as support, and then for sure we're in buyer's territory to trade up. So at the moment though, it's just in it's a very difficult area. Are we putting in a lower top, 68.59 area? I'd be happy to see a lower top, lower bottom. So if we stop here, we move below 68.04, we'll have a broken bottom and a lower top. That clearly puts the whole sentiment of this pair then into the downtrend. And then I'd like to see this level become resistance to trade down from. All right. Now, I might have to be patient for that, but watching those levels just to see how they will present an opportunity. All right. I want to go and look at the dollar yen. And this looks a little bit, I'm going to take my lines off, I can put them back in. So we'll go to the monthly chart. Now, look at the last 2 monthly candles. They've barely gone anywhere. In fact, the last 2 monthly candles have been negative. Just. They've been putting in obviously a candlestick low, a candlestick high. So they've been moving up and down the monthly trading range that they're creating. They have just been able to hold above this monthly level of resistance, 114.72. So maybe that's becoming support in the short term. But we're holding some lows over here. But there's some tops here that we can now reference as resistance. But there are some lows over here that the tops are forming at as well. So we're battling in a resistance area at the top of those monthly candles. All right. But the monthly trend is up, but we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and we haven't had a candle down yet. Is it time to have 1 or 2 candles down? That's what's happening in my mind. On the weekly, we actually have some divergence showing on the MACD indicator, and that's crossed down. And we've actually put in on this weekly chart a double top. We've come up a bit short this week. Are we creating a triple top in that area? We're still making higher bottoms, as I can see. So maybe this is just getting ready to break above. Time will tell. But it's a very choppy area. And for a good while now, this level up here at 116.35, and then the next level above is a monthly level at 116.48. Our price is being held in that area. That's where it's getting topped at. All right, daily chart. So it has been getting some form of support at 114.72 over the last week to 2 weeks. Has been range bound. It's been getting capped at what's getting capped at these 2-day resistance levels, which I'll show you. I'll tell you what they are in a moment. We'll get down to the 4-hour chart. But obviously today we're coming up to these double tops, and you can see the candles withdrawing. So obviously the big participants in the market know that's where we've been selling down from before. So can we move back below these 2 tops? If we are, that's obviously weak for the pair. Obviously moving through the tops is good for the pair, for the buyers. But you know, if you want to be a buyer, you should have been buying down here, because buying up here, you get clear resistance. So I've had a fib from that top, drawn to that low, and 4-hour trend at the moment is still structurally up. These day chart tops, 1575 and 1580, are today acting as some form of support when it pulled back. So maybe this 4-hour chart trend is still going to hold and come up to test resistance. All right. So if you're of a buyer's mentality, when it came back down to 115.80, that was your level to look for an opportunity to trade at. to trade up. All right. So, but the time for the buyers to be buying at the moment are getting, time's running out because we're getting closer to that resistance area. So I'm just monitoring. We've had 2 failures on the weekly chart. Let's go back to the daily chart here. Weekly top, up at that 116.35 level. Now we might get up to that level once more this week. We could still get there this week. If we get up there, it starts to fail, I'm going to look for an opportunity to sell. Maybe we're not going to get up to that level because obviously the candle here intraday is starting to withdraw down. So I'm just going to be monitoring the pair at the moment. Do we come up to 116.35? We'll be watching that like a hawk. That's the level to watch for the sellers. If you want to be a buyer, any further retest and hold at 115.80 is your level to trade up for the retest of 116.35. With this 79% level, I'm just going to monitor that level. Do we start to see a price action breakdown? Can we break down to a lower bottom? Do we come back up into this area of tops? Does that hold? Do we come up for another test of the 79 level? Do we put in a lower top? And as we make a lower top and move below these resistance or support tops, depending on their polarity at the moment, ideally there'll be a resistance when it moves back below. Do we start to see that formation to trade down? All right, at the moment, the 4-hour structure is the opposite, but I don't think it's in the best area to be a buyer in because you're in that resistance area. So it's been a very difficult pair though. If you look at what price has been doing, was range bound. See how it went up to a higher top, to a lower bottom, back to a higher top. It's very challenging when the market isn't in a clear, it's not even in a clear range. It's going higher top, lower bottom, higher top. So it's very difficult to try to ascertain what to do on a pair when it's not conforming to a nice trend. So I'm just looking at the idea at the moment that we're into the very top area of where the buyers can live and where the sellers will start to take control. And then does price action start to look like a downtrend? And then can we initiate trade down from this area? All right. All right, just before I finish, it's worth looking at the dollar index, and it's asking itself 98.12, which is a monthly area of old top that we've moved through. Is it going to still act as resistance or is it going to act as support? Obviously, we've been above it, so we'd like it to act as support. So, I mean, this might actually come down to this weekly level broken top there to find some support. The trends are still up though on the dollar index, so pairs to the US dollar should be more negative if the dollar index is moving up. So the day chart, we obviously had a very negative day down. Now the dollar index is at least 50% of it as an index is contributed by the euro. So the euro obviously yesterday had a very strong day up. So the dollar index will have a strong day down. So if the euro dollar starts to move down from the resistance areas I was discussing, this will obviously move up back above 98.12. So really 98.12, we need, getting a close above that level would be good for the US dollar. And we'll probably then see some more continued movements down of pairs to the US dollar. All right. And the S&P 500, this red area is just representing the range of last month. And we've come up to the 62, held. We've fallen below a monthly support low, which should act as resistance on a retest back. We did hold there Tuesday. Yesterday, we traded above, and currently we're trading below. This is why sometimes it's very difficult to get a clear concept of, is the trend going to remain in play? Because it really, if it's going to continue down, it shouldn't really be getting too much above 42.68, the monthly support low that we've been breaking below. So I'll just show you that on a higher time frame chart. Here's the monthly chart. There's a monthly low area here. So the market keeps trying to trade below it. And if we're going to trade below it and hold and move further down, that should act as resistance. So sometimes it is intraday and sometimes it isn't. So are we getting support there to move up, or are we just finally going to break through it? All right. So, you know, there's a few wiki candles down here. Weekly chart here, the wick bounced back up. We have put a lower top in, come down, wiki candle bounces back up, another lower top starting to form. Can we start to not, you know, get support through this area and trade further down? Time will tell. So put my things back in. So we might be heading back down today to retest the low of the week. In early trading, we're starting to move back below that monthly level of support / resistance. Is it going to act as resistance now rather than support? All right. So for a clear move down, we really need to get away from 42.68. If we start to see a clear move down on the S&P 500, the next level that we need a clear move through is this low point here at 41.04. So can we get a clear hold at resistance now and a clear move through 41.04? If we get that, we're going to probably see more US dollar strength, and pairs to the US dollar obviously looking more weaker and wanting to move more convincingly down to the downside, because some of those pairs to the US dollar at the moment, like the Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, very choppy. Half a day they're down, half the day they're up. All right. So those are levels that I'm watching. If there's any other instrument or pair you'd like to look at before we finish tonight, just type it in. I'm just going to have a click through and just see what's been going on since I've been talking. Aussie yen's coming back up to a further test 85.14, the 79 level. You can see that the sellers there are sitting at 85.14 up to 85.18 because the candle's telling you it's selling off there at the moment. We've actually, that's the third time we've tested that level today and held. There was one candle there, another candle there, and obviously it's holding there on this third test. So there's never a guarantee that can still trade through, but looks like a very solid level to be looking to trade down from in the short term. Aussie dollar wanting to hold at that 4-hour level I drew in at 73.47. Will we finally get a breakdown and through 73.14 convincingly? That's why I was saying before, half the day we're moving down, half the day we're moving up. Are we moving back down again? It's just up and down zigzag. Very, very, very hard if you want to try to get into a trade and then just hold it for a move, because you're getting whipped around. All right, so you're seeing some negativity up there. Trend line break to kind of confirm that move down. Hasn't happened yet, but that would be a trend line. Euro yen in the volatile pair. 128.24, the weekly resistance area. We've been above it. Obviously, we dropped down. You can see at the moment, traders are dealing off that level at 128.24 to trade down. Obviously, it's stuck between 128.24 and 127.92 at the moment as I'm talking, but it might be below 127.92 very shortly, because this pair at the moment can move very quickly. So I'd like to see that, as I say, move below 127.92 and that act as resistance, because at the moment you can see it's just stuck between those two levels. There you go. Now it's going back up. That's why I'm saying it's very volatile. All right, the euro dollar is just in the middle of that support and resistance we were discussing before. Pound yen, Edwin, there's that 1-hour chart, 79% level that has come up for a test of 152.84. And the level of weekly resistance, 152.89, that the market was challenging earlier in the day, we couldn't quite get to there on that rally back up. Looking at these candles at the moment, the market is very volatile. As I was saying, if it's too volatile for you, you don't need to trade, because these 50-minute candles at the moment are really whipping around. You can just wait for the volatility to subside. Now, of course, with the war in Europe, pound crosses, euro crosses, they're going to be very volatile because they're in Europe. Obviously, I'm sure all of Europe's worried about, are we going to end up at war with Russia? So what I'm saying, you don't need to trade if it's volatile. Of course, you don't need to, because when you're trading, you put your money at risk. How long will this volatility last? Well, I'm sure it's going to last while Russia's still at war with the, engaging with the Ukraine at war. I don't think Ukraine's engaging with Russia. It's Russia obviously engaging with Ukraine, but you can just see the volatility on the 15-minute candle there, and I'm sure it's the same as we move back to the euro again, or the euro yen. There we go. So this euro yen at the moment is kind of doing 30 pip movements on the 15-minute candle at the moment. Pound dollar, not convincingly moving through 131.68 at the moment, but trading around it. I'll just go back to see what the dollar yen's doing on the 15-minute chart. So just to recap on the dollar yen, we have been selling off on the candle today. Be interested to see how that closes. Does it finish as a rejection candle? In any little price blip that we've been having over the last couple of hours, we've moved below 116. Any upward movement at the moment has been capped at 116. So maybe earlier in the day we traded above 116. We've moved below 116. We're getting a little bit capped at 116. So tomorrow, if we trade down now for the rest of the day, tomorrow you might find 116 as a very good level to see resistance and the market start to falter at for tomorrow's high points. All right. I will certainly be watching that tomorrow. So I'll actually be watching, I've already discussed the 115.92, 79% fib level. Tomorrow, if we trade down more today, tomorrow the 79 fib and the 116 level could be where the market caps the high of the day for tomorrow. Okay. All right. So those are the levels I'm going to be watching over the next 24 hours. If you're in our Telegram service, or if you'd like to get access to it, just contact Nathan. I'll give you his details in the chat. We're posting some analysis tomorrow. Today I've been posting the pound yen and its resistance levels that it's trying to fail at. I did an earlier piece on the pound yen in terms of the 4-hour chart and the resistance levels that the market's contending with right now. And then further earlier in the day, I did one on the euro yen, where we're at this weekly level of resistance, the 128.24 level, if I'm right. Yeah, 128.24. It's kind of held there at the moment, but that's the question. Is it going to move up to the next level? Is that going to hold as resistance? We've got the Eurozone news coming out, so I will see how those levels are holding as we get into tomorrow's trading. So if you'd like to get access to the Telegram service, just contact Nathan. He'll organize that for you. And for those on YouTube, I can't see the chat, but if you're on there trying to ask me questions, I can't see the chat, so I can't answer your questions. But before I leave, just to let you know what's coming up on the webinars, if I just bring up my webinar page. Here we go. Next week, that's today's. Next week, next Tuesday, the education webinar series starts on Tuesday the 15th. So if you'd like to attend that, start the webinar series at the beginning and work all the way through the 15 webinars. From start to finish, we're starting next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Sydney time. So look forward to seeing you all there. All right, so just head over to that page if you want to register for the next webinar. If there's no questions, I'll just give you 30 seconds for a question. Anything else you want to ask me? before we conclude. So thanks very much for attending with me this week. Ed, thank you. Khalifa, mate, you've been quiet tonight, but thanks for attending. I can see you on there. Always good to see you. Edwin, good to see you. Thank you. All right, guys. I'll say good night. So thanks very much for attending, and I look forward to seeing you next time.